All right, welcome back. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're adding these sinker pieces, similar to the ingredients in Candy Crush. So I can still swap with them. They have all the regular functionality. If I make a match underneath them, they'll fall with the board, just like they should. However, they don't make a match with anything else, and they don't disappear until we get them all the way down to the bottom of the board. After today, so here we'll see one disappear. After today, we'll start adding that functionality where we can have goals into our game, where up here, this panel is going to be little goals that we'll have. But yeah, here we go with the collectibles. So stick around and let's dive right in. Alright, so this is probably going to end up being a little bit longer video than I usually like to make. I usually like to have my videos be about 10 to 20 minutes, so it's pretty easily digestible in one sitting. And this video is probably going to go closer to 20-25, but let's see. Alright, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to make an actual scene that's going to hold our sinker. And this is going to be similar to the ingredients that you would find in Candy Crush, the hazelnuts, the cherries, all that other stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Scene and create a new inherited scene, because I want to use all of the inherited abilities that we have from the piece scene. The movement, the match and dim, the ability to be matched so it can be destroyed, all that stuff. So I'm going to create a new scene that inherits from piece. I'm going to rename this to, I'm just going to call it Sinker or Collectible, whatever you would like to call it. For its color, I'm going to give it a color of none with a capital N. And then now I need to set the sprite. So to do this, I'm going to go into my art. And in my itch.io asset pack that I have, sorry, my cat's distracting me. In my itch.io asset pack that I have, I added some sinkers here. I have a few different versions. These are the circular one. I think I have one that's like a diamond shape. I'm just going to be looking at, let's just use this one here because this is a different color than all the other pieces. So I'm going to drag the texture right there. All right, so that's all that I have to do with this aside from that now I need to save it. So I'm going to save it in my scenes folder. All right, everything else that I have to do here I'm going to do with the grid. So I'm going to open up my grid script, and I'm going to need to add a few variables to this first. So I'm going to put this here near my color bomb stuff. So this is going to be collectible / sinker stuff. So there's a few different variables I'm going to create. The first one is going to be a reference to the sinker scene. So this is going to be an export, so I can set it in the inspector of type packed scene. I'm going to call it sinker piece. I need to have another variable that's going to be the number of, well actually let's make a Boolean value the next one, which is whether or not I want there to be collectibles in the scene. So export of type Boolean var, we'll call this sinkers in scene. I want to know how many are going to be on the scene at any one time. So you don't want it to just be a random amount that spawn, because then you run the risk of either having your user have too few or too many. So I'm going to have this set amount where there's always going to be this many on the scene at any one given point in time, so that as soon as one gets destroyed, so let's say that maybe you need 5 of these to pass the level. As soon as one gets destroyed, we'll have another one be created at the top of the scene, so that there's always a set amount there. So this is going to be an export, so I can set it in the inspector type integer, and I'll call this max sinkers. I'll just call it max sinkers. And then I'm going to have another variable that's going to be set inside of the, or that's not going to be in the inspector, it's going to be set in the script only, and that's going to be how many sinkers are currently on the board, so that again, so I don't have just 4 or 5 appear out of nowhere, and so that I also don't have turns and turns go by without any on the board. So this is going to be a var current sinkers, and I'm going to default that to 0. All right, so a couple things I need to do here. First, I'm going to create a method that's going to spawn in those sinkers. So I'm just going to find all my spawn methods here, and I'm going to make another one right near it. So I've got my spawn slime was the last spawn method I made. So I'm going to make a function spawn sinker. And this is going to take an argument. I want to know how many sinkers I want to spawn at once. And so this is going to be number to spawn. All right. So the main logic behind this is that I want to, for however many I want to spawn, so let's say I want to do 5, I'm going to do the same process again and again. So I'm going to need to use a for loop. So for I in number to spawn. And then over this loop, I want to decide on what column I want to have them in. So I'm always going to have them be at the top of the board. So the row is always going to be the same. It's the column that's different. So I'm going to say var column is equal to floor rand range 0 width. So a random number between 0 and the width. Now, this might give me a number that is either supposed to be empty, or it might give me a space that I already put a sinker into. So I want to make sure that this is going to be a space that's fair for me to put something in. So so I want to check to make sure that this is an empty space, and it's a space that is supposed to have a piece in it. And if it's not, I'm just going to keep generating a new number until I do that. Pardon me. So I'm going to say while all pieces, and I want to do column, and then since I want this to spawn at the top, I'm going to do height -1, which is the top of the board, is not equal to null. And the other thing I want to check is make sure, not and, or restricted fill. And I want to check to see if it's a restricted fill for a vector 2 column height -1. All right, so I'm just going to add a pass there so that I don't have that red line. It really bugs me when I get that red line. Okay. So if the random number it came up with is something that either has a piece in it already, meaning like another sinker already, or if it's one of the pieces we're not supposed to fill, then I'm going to generate another number. So column is equal to floor rand range 0 width. And it's just going to keep doing that until it comes up with a spot that isn't either full or that isn't restricted. And the only problem that you would run into with this is if you wanted to have more sinkers on the board at once than you had columns in your game, which I don't know why you would do that, but that might be a specific warning to, put out there. Now after I do that, the next thing I want to do is I want to make an actual sinker. So var current, which is going to be the sinker I'm making, is going to be equal to sinker piece dot instance. I'm going to add this as a child, and then I'm going to set its position. Current dot position is equal to grid to pixel, and I forget, does grid to pixel take a vector, or yeah, it takes a column in a row. So column height -1. All right, so The next thing I want to do is increase the number. Oh yeah, I want to set this in all pieces too. So all pieces, column height -1 is equal to current, so that we won't spawn another piece there. And then last thing I want to do is do current sinkers plus equals 1, so that we have an extra current sinker. Alright, so I'm going to save this. Now what I want to do is, in my ready function, I want to check to see if this is a board that should have sinkers, and if it is, I'm going to spawn sinkers. So I'm going to say if, what did I call that value? So if sinkers in scene, spawn sinkers. And the number I want to spawn is going to be max sinkers. Alright, cool. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to pop out of distraction free mode here for a second. I'm going to go to my grid, go to my scenes, find that sinker scene that I just made, and over here. Alright, so I need to tell it what the sinker piece is. So that goes right there. I'm going to say that I do have sinkers in the scene, and I'm going to default it to a max of 2. So let's try this out here. We should see the sinkers appear in the top row. Okay. What did I call? Oh, I called it spawn sinker, not spawn sinkers. I think I want to call it spawn sinkers though. So I'm going to change that. Save. Let's try this again. Alright, cool. We didn't get any this time. Alright. Why not? What did I do wrong? Alright, so let's take a look at our grid here. Sinkers in scene is on. Grid. Spawn sinkers, max sinkers. Did I tell it how many I wanted? Yeah, I told it I wanted 2. Hold on one second. Okay, I forgot that I had to do this. I had to change something in the spawn pieces. So in spawn pieces, the way that we've been doing this up until now, I never once checked to make sure that the place that we were creating a piece wasn't already filled. So when we call spawn pieces here, we have if not restricted fill. I'm going to add another condition. So I'm going to say and all pieces I j is equal to null. Alright, so I'm going to save that, and let's try this again. Alright, so there we go. We got our sinkers. Now, because these are inheriting from the piece scene, they have all of the functionality of a piece. So they'll fall in the board naturally. That wasn't a good example. There we go. They'll fall in the board naturally just like any other piece would. However, if you get 3 of them in a row, they'll match just like any other piece would. And right now, if we get this all the way down to the bottom, oh yeah, that's another thing too. They're affected by bombs, which they shouldn't be. And if you get them all the way down to the bottom of the board, they just hang out there, which maybe that's something that you want. Maybe you want a piece that takes up space but can't be used for anything. But if we want it to be similar to the ingredients in Candy Crush, we want to first make sure it's not affected by bombs. Second, make sure that they can't match with each other, so that if you have a row of 3 of them or a column of 3 of them, they don't disappear. And then also, pardon me, make sure that when they make it down to the bottom of the board, they disappear. And then also, once they disappear, we want to make a new one up at the top of the board. So this is what we're going to deal with here now. So it's a lot of kind of code, just dealing with a few specific cases. So let's dive right in here. I'm going to create a little Boolean value here, a little function that's going to return a Boolean value that is going to tell me whether or not a given piece on the board is a sinker. So I'm going to say function is piece sinker. And the reason I'm doing this is in my bomb methods, when I'm collecting all those pieces, I'm going to add this as a check. And I'm only going to make those pieces matched if they're not already a sinker. So if all pieces, oh, and I need to know a column and a row. column row. So if all pieces column row is not equal to null, because it takes up space on the board. And then I want to say if all pieces column row dot color. Is color what I called it? Checking here. Capital C color. Is it? Did I call it capital C color? It's not like me. Yeah, I called it lowercase c color. That's weird. All right. Dot color is equal to none. Return true. So then that means that this is a sinker. Otherwise, return false. It's not a sinker. Keep wanting to say seeker. All right. I'm going to save this. So that's a little helper function I'm going to have. Now, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to kind of collapse these routines as I go. I know there's a way to collapse them all, but I want to look at each of them to decide if it's something that I need to add that check to. So swap pieces, color bomb, store info, swap back, touch difference, process delta. All right, so find matches. So if all pieces isn't null and not is, did I call it? Yeah, is piece sinker ij. So I don't want to go through the find matches if it's a sinker piece. So find matches, I just added this quick little check right there after I make sure that all pieces isn't null. Let's see, for my get bombed pieces, so I need to do column, row, adjacent. I won't need to do color. No, I will need to do color in case you swap a color bomb with one of those none pieces. So it's piece null, match and dim, find bombs. This is to find whether we need to make the bomb, change the bomb. Okay, destroy matched, don't need that. Make effect, I don't need concrete or slime. Damage special. Okay, so match color. If all pieces ij isn't null and not is piece null is piece sinker ij. So there we go. That's the color bomb. Clear board. Well, clear board 2. If all pieces ij isn't null and not is piece sinker ij, because we don't want to clear the sinkers from the board. Collapse columns is fine for now. We'll come back to that. Refill columns we'll come back to. Generate slime. Find normal neighbor. Okay, so we don't want the slime to generate over one of the sinker pieces either. So I'm going to add my check here. And not is piece sinker. And then I have to be careful here because this isn't just column row or ij, it's column plus 1 row. And then the next one's going to be slightly different. So I'm going to copy this right there. And down here on the next check, so we're doing column minus 1. And then here, we're doing column row plus 1. Okay, and then here, we're doing column row minus 1. All right, cool. So there's that one. Find normal neighbor for the slimes. Match all in column. If all pieces isn't null, and let's do and not is piece sinker. It's going to be column, and instead of row, it's I. So that's match all in column, match all in row. Not is piece sinker. This is going to be I comma row. All right, and then the last one, find adjacent pieces. So, okay, this one I at least made better. So this is going to be column plus I, and then row plus J. All right, cool. So I think that's all cool. Yeah, that's all of the bomb pieces. So we fixed that. Now I'm just gonna obsessively close these because that's just how I am. All right, cool. So now I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna pop back out of distraction-free mode here, and let's try it. I'm probably gonna fast forward here. I just want to make sure that the bombs aren't going to destroy the pieces. So yeah, I'll meet you back here in a second. Okay, so I don't know if you saw that or not, but I triggered some bombs around these pieces and they didn't disappear. So we're good there. Now, if you'll notice, it got to the bottom of the board and it didn't itself disappear. So to do that, I'm going to make a method here. I'm going to do this before my timers where I just destroy the sinker when it hits the bottom of the board. So this is going to be function destroy sinkers. This is going to be for all the sinkers that hit the bottom of the board. So what I want to do is I want to say, because I only have to check the bottom row, I don't have to go through the whole board. For I in width, okay, so I'm going left to right with the width. If all pieces I, j is not equal to null, so if it's not an empty spot, and if all pieces ij dot color is equal to none, then I'm going to make that piece matched. All pieces ij dot matched equals true. And then the other thing I'm going to do is reduce the current number in the scene. So current sinkers minus equals 1. And the reason I'm doing that is so that it knows that it needs to generate a new one. So I'm going to save that. Now, that should cause the sinkers to destroy when they get to the bottom of the row. Let's test that out. Okay, so already I got a little error here, and oh, so I said I didn't have to iterate over the entire board, and I don't, but then I acted as if I was doing that here. So I did for I in width, which is the columns, my row is going to be 0 because that's where everything's going to be destroyed. So I can just hard code that. I could call it width minus width, so it's not a hard coded number, but that doesn't make any sense. That's just silly. All right, so we're going to fast forward again here. Okay. So I forgot to actually call that method from somewhere. So where I want to call it from is at the end of the collapsed columns. So that way, after the columns collapse and it goes back through to check to see if there are any more matches, it'll find those. So I want to do it in the collapse columns method, but at the very, very end of it. So where is that? There it is, collapsed columns. So after I go through all of the columns, I'm going to call destroy sinkers. All right, let's try that again. Oh, I think that's why I did it. All right, so I got a little overzealous with my making sure that things aren't sinkers when we're destroying them. So I need to check my destroy matched method here. No, I didn't do it there. If piece isn't null, was matched is true, key free, date score. That's weird. That piece should have been destroyed. Let me try that again. Okay, sorry about that cut. I know that this is like no time at all later for you, but for me it's, I don't know, like 20 minutes of bug testing. I did a test of this earlier and it worked just fine on an exact copy of this project, but I must have done something differently that I can't find. But here's how we're going to fix this to make it work the way it should. So we're calling destroy sinker and collapse columns. The problem is, let me just explain the problem to make sure that everybody understood it. So the problem is that when the sinkers get to the bottom, they need to be destroyed. And that was happening except when there wasn't another match on the board. The sinkers were getting flagged as being matched, but then they wouldn't actually be destroyed until you made another match somewhere on the board. So that could be an issue if, you know, it's the very, very last move. Your player has to get just one more. That last one gets down there, and then for whatever reason, it doesn't register as being destroyed. So to do this, in our collapse columns method, we have our destroy sinkers, and then we're refilling the columns. And then in the after refill method, it only checks to see if there's a match at in certain places. And there wouldn't be a match at with the sinker because there's not 3 in a row, but it would still be matched. So what I want to do is I want to say if match at all pieces ij.color, or I want to add an extra condition, and this is in the after refill method, or all pieces ij dot matched. So if there's already a piece that's matched, then I want to trigger all of the rest of this, and that fixes it. Now the problem is when they get to the bottom of the board, we're still not generating new ones. So what we want to do then is in our refill columns method, we want to check to see how many are currently on the board. So if current sinkers is less than max sinkers, so if we currently have 1 on the board and we can't have 2, then I want to generate sinkers. So spawn sinkers, and I want to pass in max sinkers minus current sinkers as the amount I want to create. And I'm doing that before the bulk of the refill columns method, so that way these places won't be null when it comes time to actually fill them. So let's test this out and make sure it works the way I want it to. So I'll probably fast forward here just a little bit, just because that way you're not just staring at me playing the game. So be right back. So there we go. This one registered as being destroyed, and then right away a new one was created at the top of the board. So there we go. Yeah, that was a much longer video than I'm used to. Thank you very much for sticking around. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments down below. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter, find out when I post new videos. You can join my Discord. Lots of really cool people in there. And yeah, I hope everybody out there has themselves a wonderful day. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving a like, subscribing to the channel, or telling a friend who might be interested. Also, please consider following me on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can earn access to tangible rewards, like early access to videos, backer-only videos and series, polls for future topics, streams, and even individual tutoring sessions. You can find a link to that in the description. And as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.